almost ready for chips.
What? These are filthy.
Right.
So when we became chicken, we were doing some good.
Yeah, you're supporting the move to regenerative farming.
Great, got there in seconds then.
I can't.
Let's all chicken.
Three in the middle with grilled onions and double cheese. We've got to see that again. Absolute melter. The new hat-trick burger from McDonald's. Get stuck in until the 16th of July.
Customer satisfaction results are in.
Are we here or? Right, yes, all right, I understand.
Perhaps we could try being more like Nationwide.
Like nationwide. What are they doing now?
They tell their customers that better savings rates are available. Been doing it for years.
Soon our customers will be asking for it too.
They already are.
Muffin me. This person can't even spell banker.
Not banker.
With Nationwide Savings Watch, we'll tell you when we have new savings accounts or better rates. Nationwide, a good way to bank.
Stuck on what to stream next? Make it a movie night with ITVX. And settle in for a cinematic epic. I volunteer as tribute. With the Hunger Games collection.
Elastic face.
Stay alive.
Stream it now, plus loads more movies on ITVX.
The Hunger
Easy
Games.
into mornings. Ninja Food Eat sponsors this morning.
Hello there, welcome back. Now, according to a new poll, a quarter of adults admit to using sunbeds, with almost 2 in 5 of us unaware of the life-threatening risks.
Well, with melanoma skin cancer on the rise and around 100 deaths per year linked to sunbed use, we're joined by dermatologist Emma Wedgwood alongside Caroline Madden, a skin cancer survivor, to discuss the dangers. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
It seems extraordinary, Emma, when you hear those statistics that 2 in 5 people are unaware of the life-threatening risks to do with sunbeds, and a quarter of adults still use them. What's your take on sunbeds?
So from a skin perspective, sunbeds are really damaging to our skin. We know that if you use sunbeds, you do increase your risk of melanoma, you can increase your risk of other types of skin cancers, and you will prematurely age your skin. So from a skin perspective, sunbeds are really quite dangerous for the skin.
How do they work, and what do you say to people who often will say, well, I've got a skin condition, actually the sunbed helps with that?
So sunbeds work by emitting both UVB, which is a particular type of wavelength of light, and UVA. And they do this in quite an intense way compared to like sunlight. Now, all UV light, as well as tanning our skin, will slightly suppress the immune system. So it can sometimes improve things like psoriasis and eczema. And it's a really high-risk way of doing it. And I have much better treatments as a dermatologist to help eczema and psoriasis. So I really urge people not to treat these sorts of conditions with a sunbed. But I know it's hard because people want to get rid of their skin conditions. Access to dermatologists is really hard. So I do totally get it.
Before I used
That's what it
before
does.
I was aware, I just didn't know
Normal
how
sun
they were, and when I
does
was younger
not
and
do
got
that.
skin, I'd use
But it
sunbed.
does
Yes, you would, because it would tend to, and you think, well, it's just like
give
going
you
on a sunny
sunburn.
day in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
But it isn't, is it? It's much more dangerous than that.
It is more dangerous, and what we find is that the amount of UVA and the way that it actually hits the
like
skin is more intense than the average sunlight. And even 10
blisters.
minutes or so in a sunbed
What
is
I've
like
got on
a
the
couple of
shoulder
hours in the Mediterranean.
So Caroline, when
really
did you start
hurt.
using them, and why?
I was about 18. I went to a local club
Not
that
funny.
sunbed. It wasn't regulated at all.
Like a health club?
Yes, it was a squash club,
Serious.
and it was they had one,
It-
and you just went and got a token, and you went on for about half an hour.
Hurt.
Had a sleep normally. It was just one with the
But
tubes above you.
the sunbed,
It became more modern, and
they're
I used it
dangerous.
because I felt better with the tan.
And you did feel better having used it. Did you ever have any problems? Did you ever have any burning?
No,
The
I never
sun
burned, but I definitely, I think 'cause I was pale
is not
skinned,
dangerous.
blonde hair, makeup in those days, I mean I'm 58, so makeup in those days was horrible. Foundation was like glue. You didn't have any of the spray tans or the tinted
But it
moisturisers,
does give
so
pain
really to
if
And was anybody,
You don't
when you were using the sunbed,
put on
warning you of the dangers
No,
of using sunbed?
never. And then I probably used them for about
sun
10
cream
years.
before you
So
go
then
out.
later on in health clubs, but again, you just buy a token and
Yeah.
and go on them, and
It's so interesting as well how they're in health clubs. So you think you're
Yeah.
in a place that's kind of like,
yeah.
Promoting well-being.
yes, absolutely. And so when did
who I've been going to for years, and in 2009 I was visiting her and she said, oh, I don't remember seeing that mole on your ankle. And I said, what mole? And she pointed this large mole out to me and I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing it. And then 2 weeks later I happened to have a doctor's appointment about something else and I said, what do you think about this mole on my ankle? And he went, oh yeah, it's worth getting checked, luckily. 2 weeks later I had an appointment and they said, you're not leaving. So I went to my local hospital and they obviously knew just by looking at it. So they cut it out there and then.
And then they ran tests?
Yes, so they cut it out there and then it came back about 2 weeks later. They said it is melanoma, but we need to do wider excision they do to find out what stage it is. So I went back in, I had a massive hole cut in my foot like the size of a tennis ball, skin graft done from my groin, and lymph nodes removed from my groin, which it had travelled up, so it had already.
So it spread
already. Then I was stage 3C straight away, and then I was in hospital for 6 weeks. I had 6 lots of major surgery, had my lymphatic system removed from the waist down, and all the complications with that.
And how are you?
Stemming from that
And
one.
how are you now? You're still battling it still?
Yes, because then I was then put on a drugs trial, so I had chemo every 3 weeks for a year, and then because I was on a drugs trial, I was luckily monitored for 10 years, and I was signed off in February 2018, and it came back in around about April-May 2018.
You alright?
Pelvis and groin.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people that are still using them, thinking about using them?
Don't, you know, we didn't know the risks in those days. We didn't, you know, it was pre the internet, pre social media. We had no idea. And you do know now. You know, I think as long as somebody exists, people will use them.
Right, this is what Gary Letton was the chairman
I
of
love
the
girls
Association
today.
to us. I'd be interested in your thoughts first. Anyone spending time outside in the last couple of days would have been exposed to much
I
higher
don't
levels of UV than they would from a sunbed session with
mean
professionally run tanning.
like
Salons in membership
I love to
sunbeds
eat
train staff,
those.
screen customers against
No.
thorough checklist to ensure they're appropriate to tan,
I
to
don't
ensure
mean
the
it
tan
that
is
way.
avoiding burning. If only sunbathing,
I mean
most
it
burning
like
occurs
way
well
as in
regulated
like
in the Sunbed Association member salon.
Yes, and you know, to be fair to the Sunbed Association, they have increased checks. They
The
check
wonderful
people who've got multiple moles,
and,
people who've got very fair skin, and freckle, people who've got a family history of melanoma in this country. But if you are stimulating your melanocytes, which is your pigment-producing cells, enough to produce the tan, and you're doing that repeatedly, that is going to put you at higher risk of melanoma. So it's a bit like smoking. It's better to smoke 2 cigarettes a day than 20, but in an ideal world, we wouldn't smoke at all, and we wouldn't use indoor tanning beds. I mean, when I'm talking to people about safe sun, what I say to them is, don't
But
get up
they're
the stairs,
lovely.
you don't want people to be vampires. Go out, do the
Wonderful
things you
women.
normally enjoy, go swimming, play tennis, whatever it is that you like to do.
Oh,
But just don't lie out in the sun and try to get a tan. And that's outside, but definitely indoor tanning as well.
It's just so intense too. I mean, it's actually been banned in
beautiful,
Brazil, Iran,
strong
and Australia. In all of those
She-Hulk.
countries, tanning beds have been
And
banned
Australia are educated as
You
well.
know her.
Because sun cream on, you know.
Yes. Yes.
I was blissfully unaware of
Power
anything
girl.
melanoma until I got it.
Love her.
And we were just talking about it, and I was saying how people don't take it seriously. So they
Super
say it's
girl.
skin cancer, but it's
Yeah.
one of the fifth deadliest cancers.
Mm.
And they say, oh, you'll just cut it out and then you're fine. But it's not that simple.
Not in all cases.
And it's a fight you're having still now.
Yes, you can't get rid of melanoma, so it.
That's heresy,
it's well
girls.
designed by, but it lives inside you, and you've just got to hope it doesn't histamate your organ.
Yeah.
But you know it, knowing if and when that will happen, so you do live with it permanently. And I have
But
all sorts
men,
of health issues from all the
I'm
surgery.
sorry, but
Well, look, thank you for coming and sharing your
That's
story.
hatred.
And for being in here as well. It's it's one of those things. It's just so tempting. I remember using it when I was a teenager.
When you're kids and you didn't, and I feel like we weren't educated about
And that
it.
thing where it's kind of, well, I'm going away on holiday, so I want to get my
A
skin.
base tan.
and I'm tough,
This week of sales
but I'm
related
loving.
Greece next week.
I'm going to
Yeah.
prepare myself.
I think
So I'm
the
like a
most compelling thing is that
50-50.
WHO categorised indoor tanning as a type 1 carcinogen. A carcinogen is something that